Hinske texted me the other day. Should I just read what the text said?
Sure, do what you got to do. I think it's radio friendly.
So, I'm thinking about a movie soundtrack battle. 3 songs from a movie that are arguably the best songs of the movie versus another 3 from another movie. We get to pick what we think is the better soundtrack as it goes on. So the first question is, how did you come up with that idea? Just shitting? You were shitting?
Well, no,
watching a movie?
I was listening to actually XM Radio, Ozzy's Boneyard, and they had Sammy Hagar's heavy metal song from the soundtrack. And I'm as I'm listening to this, I'm like, if I was to pit the heavy metal 2000 soundtrack against the original, the original would just blow it away, because it was a lot more creative music back then, and it flowed better, I felt. So now I was just like, well, you and I converse all the time about different genres of music, different bands, and then we talk about movies sometimes, but usually when we do, it's music related.
Yep.
So I figured, what would be cool is if you could pick 8 movies in your mind that when you watch them, you not only are watching them because you enjoy the movie, but because the soundtrack matches up well with it. Like, what songs on a track list make that movie for you? Okay, so I wanted you to pick 8. I was going to pick 8, and then we're going to come up with a little tournament bracket, a la March Madness bracket-ish. And
brackets.
We're in the first bracket. We're going to pair up who we want to pair up, and each album gets 3 songs. We only get 3 songs. Now, after the first bracket, the winners move on to the next section, but they lose a song each. So we have to decide, of those 3 songs that won that first match, which one can we lose and still win with the 2 remaining. And then at the end of it all, everybody will have 1. And so you have to pick that one song to beat out the other song, and ultimately have the winning movie soundtrack. And now these aren't you look up greatest soundtracks of all time. This is our decision.
Well, I told you I did do that.
No. Well, no, I
picked my movies.
When I thought about that, like I was telling you earlier, when I thought about that, I'm like, I don't want to just go to a list and pick out the top 16 movie soundtracks and just decide, because it's with you and I, we geek out about talking about music, bands, and stuff like that. So I figured it would be even better for you and I to talk about the movies that we like because of the soundtracks. It's not necessarily like I'm not going to throw Star Wars and that soundtrack at you. It's clearly going to be music of bands of time, that makes the movie. And I thought that's what would make this really interesting. And
this works for me too, because I'm not the type of person that'll remember like an exact there's people that can just quote like entire scenes of movies. Right. I can't do that. But I can absolutely be like, I'll hear a song on the radio and I'll be like, you remember what movie that's from? Remember, it happens in the scene with the thing. Although you were saying some stuff from some of the movies you showed me, and I was kind of like, I think I remember that scene.
Well, I guess we haven't really worked.
Both have stories we'll throw back.
Right. Well, we'll have stories, but I guess the idea of it is the 3 songs that we play against each other, and then converse and try and persuade the other one to agree. Yes, that this particular set of songs in this soundtrack beat out the one that I picked to move on.
I'm going to be going and doing some fantasy soundtrack betting before we
fantasy soundtrack. You can't use fantasy soundtrack betting. It's not betting. That's why they can advertise.
Oh,
it's
right.
Fantasy sports.
Right, gotcha. League. So anything but betting.
Yes.
So I guess what we can do is I've got my marker board here all clean and tidy. There's some scratches and stuff on it.
Well, because now fingerprints because you touched it.
That's okay. You won't see them once we write on it.
The first movie I will be selecting is Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows.
So now you have to think of your movie lineup. Who do you think can knock Dark Shadows out in the first round?
Yep, I've got my list of 8 up over here. So let's see. All right. Now, Hinske and I were talking about this a little bit, that we had a couple of movies that he had talked about that I was thinking about putting on mine, but I didn't. But what I noticed is there's some similarity as far as genres. So while he says Dark Shadows, I will say Guardians of the Galaxy. because it's that same kind of retro kind of thing going on. So we're going to go with Guardians, if I can spell Guardians correctly.
Okay, Guardians.
Guardians!
So you're doing Guardians of the Galaxy against Dark Shadows?
Yes.
Well played, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
I commend you on that. That's actually a pretty cool call. I didn't even think of Guardians of the Galaxies. Marvel was not in my mind. I probably would have picked Iron Man 1 or Avengers 1.
And then I was thinking when I saw that you had Dark Shadows on your list, I was thinking I could have picked like one of those movies too, like Sahara. That was another one that had a lot of like 70s rock stuff going on. We'll go Guardians. Guardians ...
Okay, so while you're thinking, now you have to pick the first of the next pair. Okay, and then I get to match up a movie against it that I think can take it out.
So, this is a movie that I think this is the perfect time for me to pick this movie because I wasn't sure how it could win a competition based on that it's maybe not a great soundtrack, but it goes along that whole lines of what you were talking about, where it kind of, or you and I were both talking about, like it kind of elicits some like memories and kind of sets a mood or whatever. So we're gonna go with the Back to the Future soundtrack.
Okay, all right. Gonna go back in time. Back to the Future.
The future.
I will pit Good Morning Vietnam against Back to the Future.
Very nicely done.
My next pick that you have to decide what to put up against is going to be...
This is me shaking the marker, by the way.
Very good. Not masturbating. His dick does not make that noise.
I mean, I'm very excited about the movie thing here, but...
I will give up the movie Singles.
Singles. Wow.
The movie Singles.
All right.
So you have to think who you're going to pair up against Singles.
I can already guarantee that my choice for that is going to be the Clerks soundtrack.
Oh, you went Clerks. I looked at Clerks. I did. I looked at Clerks hard, and I'm like, actually, you know what's funny? Is I don't want to ruin what my other picks are, so I'll tell you in a minute if I use it. I'll explain it. But Clerks was on the radar.
And I was thinking about Singles, and I was trying to think what other like 90s like Gen X movies
we
could throw in there.
Yeah, us Gen Xers.
Yeah. All right. This is one I'm very excited about, and this is going to be a rough competition, and I'm almost positive I know what you're going to pick for this. The Judgment Night soundtrack.
Judgment Night.
I know where you want to go with this. I'm
going to put heavy metal up against it.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I'm going to take my chances and put the heavy metal, the classic metal rock soundtrack against Judgment. That's a good combo right there.
That's going to be a rough competition.
All right, so let's see. All right, so let's do Natural Born Killers. I will serve up the Natural Born Killers.
All right. Natural Born Killers. Let me look at my list here. Oh, man. That's one of the tougher picks for me. I'm between two. But I think this is the only one from the two that's going to possibly beat that. Oh, man. See, the problem is now, and we can't do any kind of rearranging. Once
this is
right. All right.
Once it's up, it's up.
All right.
I think it's the only way to make it fair.
Yeah, I agree. This is going to get really fucked at the end. We're like throwing out our garbage movies at this point almost. I think this is going to lose, but it's got the best chance, and that is Maximum Overdrive.
Nice. I didn't even think of Maximum Overdrive. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Natural Born might have this.
All right.
I'm not feeling entirely confident.
Okay. Maximum Overdrive was pretty much just AC/DC.
That's why I knew that you couldn't go wrong with it.
Goddamn. Which would have worked for the Iron Man 2 soundtrack. Oh. Damn it.
Is that one of the ones on your list?
No.
Okay. All right, so I'm getting first pick here, right?
Yes. First pick, and then I get to match up against it.
All right. This one's going to throw you into one where you're going to have to really think.
Okay, all right.
The Muppet Movie. The original Muppet movie, not the Ricky Gervais one.
I didn't even think of picking. I didn't even think of picking a.
Oh yeah.
I will.
Generally a horrible movie, by the way, but so many good songs.
I will see your use of childhood against me and raise you Empire Records, bitch.
Oh, wow. That's right. Empire Records is another one I'd been thinking about.
I was going to say, I bet you. Now, Empire Records is the one that I went to after Clerks.
Yeah.
Clerks was on the brain. But then I'm like, wait, what other Gen Xer movie? And I was like, Empire Records. That's gonna match up well in this. Let's see.
Very interesting.
So who do I have left here? I'll put Snatch up there as a sacrificial lamb.
All right. I guess we got each of those, huh?
Yeah. Well, between the two that I have remaining, I think I'll let you match up to the sacrificial lamb because I think the last one I've got is pretty strong.
Man. And this one actually is my sacrificial one as well because this is a out-of-print soundtrack. It's a movie that one day I flipped on HDNet Movies, and this movie was on, and it had like all the fucking, it had the fucking Kevin Bacon, it had the fucking kid from Goonies, it had a couple other guys from that time period,
right.
And the soundtrack was one of those just perfect cheese 80s types of soundtracks.
Okay.
It was the best part of the movie because the rest of the movie is a complete pile of shit.
Right.
White Water Summer.
White Water Summer. I gotta hand it to you. I have never heard of that movie.
Right.
You win.
That's my sacrificial lamb. So we'll see what happens.
So I only have one other baby doll to throw out there.
Yep.
So put your boy up there.
You picked Snatch, right?
Yeah. I think it's time for new markers, buddy.
Yeah, this one's really. It's fine when I'm not on the air doing it live, but as soon as the microphones are on. Oh, look at that.
There you go. That's strong.
See those letters right there?
Yeah, so kind of. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The original.
Will be facing Jackie Brown.
Oh my god. That actually is probably the best matchup. The best matchup of everything, and I'm glad we're saving it for last. I'm assuming we're
well,
that's the way this is.
We could talk about order next week when we come in with our songs. Okay, so the matchup, the bracket is made. Next week we come in, we have 3 songs from each. Mm-hmm. You have to be confident in your picks.
3 songs from each of all of these.
Of each soundtrack.
There's round 1 right now.
Round 1 is going to be 3 songs from each.
Okay.
Loser goes home, winner stays, but loses 1 song, remaining 2. And it's going to be the same 3 songs, or same from the same 3 songs that you originally started with.
And it'll be judged by kind of the combination of songs. You don't, unless you think it would make a difference, like the order that the songs are played in. That probably won't make a difference.
It probably won't make a difference of the order. I think it's just going to be a matter of what are our reasons for the music is going to play into it as much as whether the song's a good song or not. Mm-hmm. If you can describe to me a pretty cool scene, and I've seen the movie, like I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, and I am a comic book geek, so there is a chance that you can say like I like it because it was in this scene, and if it's a scene that I thought was really cool, and I think about it, you might win me over and say, yeah, you're right. Let's go with Guardians over Dark Shadows. So, that sort of thing.
And do you think we could somehow get listeners involved with trying to...
If listeners are on, if
you're wrong, that movie's not good because of this.
If people listening want to join the chat, or I guess, what else? What else do you have other than the chat? Skype?
Yeah, Skype.
If somebody wants to Skype in because they are so sure that we are wrong in our decision, I will allow 1 caller in to make the argument for the movie
Just
that's
one.
losing.
Wow.
Because the decision making is between the 2 of us. Okay, and if the listeners don't like it, then the first caller in can make their argument for the losing team. If they are so emphatic that was a bad decision, like if for some reason we picked Jackie Brown over Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and they didn't like our reasoning for it, somebody call on Skype, come on and lay into us about why they think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is better, and our decision was wrong. And if it sways us, power to the listeners because they're swaying us in our decision making.
Yeah.
Or they can do as much in the chats if they want to get in on your chat rooms. They can make their arguments, and it's probably not as noticeable, I wouldn't think, that if somebody was actually calling you on Skype to get in here. Mm-hmm. We would probably definitely have them on air. If somebody's typing in chat, we're going to have to pay attention and hopefully catch that they're typing something about the songs.
Yeah, I guess we'll have our discussions.
And then we'll check real quick.
And then you look over, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
The Skype we usually see pop up, so that's not a big deal. I could probably turn the sound on, too, so we actually hear the boop, 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 boop.
Get your ass on here. There's someone calling.
I'll change the ringtone so it's something really obnoxious.
There you go.
Like an Adam Sandler bit.
Why do I hear Opera Man? Son of a bitch!
Whoopity-doo, hey!
Wow. So, yeah.
And you and I I think you and I are honest enough people, too, where I'm not just going to be like, no, mine wins. Like, I think both of us will concede when we're like, oh, man, you kicked my ass on this.
Yeah, no.
I didn't even have a chance.
I'm interested in a lot of the matchups.
But I guess it'll be kind of interesting to see if some kind of stalemate occurs at some point, too. Where it's like we just get, no, it's mine. No, it's mine. And then I guess we got to get Twitches as a tiebreaker. Or hope we get that Skype call. She'll come in and she will roll her eyes and be like, really? That's what you called me down here for? We're going to be like, yeah. She's going to be like, I don't, what are the movies? The first one, whatever. And then she'll go back upstairs. That's exactly what would happen. That's the best part. You're not making it up. That's really what it would be. Whatever. I'm going back upstairs. Come on, yappy dog. I think that means he doesn't like your movie choice, dude. Oh, man. He doesn't like anything about me. Well, maybe we'll get the one Skype caller, and we should or should not keep people up to date, like on a Facebook post. That's fine. As to which one won out or what, or tune in right now to hear probably this one versus that. Yeah, probably that one. As we begin our round one of the ultimate movie soundtrack. Yeah. And if they do give us Super America #1, if they do give us a Facebook post saying I like this one, do we count that, or is it then like, well, you got to call in and tell us why? If we're looking for reasons, if we are locked, and we're looking for reasons, then maybe we check on Facebook and Facebook has people saying, oh, this one, this one. Okay. So what's this Dracula? Because he will vote against me no matter what. You think so? I don't know. I think you and him have some of the same taste and ideas. Maybe. We'll see. He does like being in the position of power and persuasion. So it's come to me for the decision. I knew you couldn't do it without me. He's kind of a mix between Newman and Dracula. Okay.